Board games, board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, board games, I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing. And over here, I'm here with my phone, sitting here in a room on my phone. I'm going to tell you about a game I know well. It's made for the deck that's now known as L. The game is named Quintuppel. It's for 1, 2, 4 players, and time will tell, hopefully, if you like this game or not. But maybe you'll be inspired to give it a shot. But first, I'll play and talk about board games and quintuple. It's what I'm talking about. Board games and quintuple. I'm not gonna shout. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. This is episode 326 of the Busy Beats and Board Game Blether. And today I am chatting about Quintuple, which is a relaxing word game about 5-letter words. It's for 1 to 4 players. And hello, Bodhi. It is truly lovely to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me. And Rob. Hello. Thank you very much. Happy British summertime to you too. It's truly a delight to have you here. I was worried that no one would be popping in. But yeah, today this is the L deck. I'm going to be explaining how to play Quintuple. I might have to check the rules and I'll look through, I'll explain what I was thinking back when I was making it. I'll go through the design process. I'll talk about what I'm proud of, what I'm unhappy with. Spoiler, it's not playable by 5-player stats. I'm slightly sad about that, but it feels like it would need 2 decks to be combined for it to be a good 5-player game. But yeah, so that is what is coming up. And oh my gosh, hello Timmy, it's been so long. Thank you so much for joining us. It is truly lovely to have you here. And I am playing one of my L deck games, and it's going to be played solo, but honestly, if you want to do a bit of backseating, that is totally okay. Of course, first, we have to get to the regular section of recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and others' lights, recent highlights. So what have been some of your recent highlights? Tabletop Live Network is obviously starting. Shout out to them and thank you for coming here. What I've been having a wee bit of a wonder. I recorded an epic podcast with someone. You might know the fact that I talk a lot. So yesterday, there's a show called Meetuppell, which is a Finnish board game podcast. And this podcaster was deciding to talk to people whose lives have changed a bit in the past couple of years. Myself, because I've started streaming and to talk about that. And they've got other people like there's going to be episodes with Dave Luza and Elizabeth Hargrave and other people that you may or may not have heard of. But anyway, Meetuppell, and the previous longest one I think was with Richard Simpson, which was about 2 hours. And then Richard kept saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm blethering on so long." And then at the start of our recording, Yanni said to me, "If it goes on for 5 hours, that's fine, don't worry." And I thought, no, it's maybe going to be, maybe it will be 2 hours, I don't know. But then in the end, our recording, admittedly, we did have like a 10-minute break in the middle to stretch and stuff and for Yanni to get some coffee. But yeah, it was pretty much 4 hours that Yanni has to edit down. So yeah, that was a real conversation. And Timmy, if you are sleeping, because I understand, like, in a way, the fact that you're awake right now isn't a good sign. So I'm sorry if you've got insomnia right now, but I'm happy that you've been generally sleeping well, so lots of love there. Rob says, we've got some new chairs yesterday that we had ordered from a local shop. We need to wax them now. Wax the chairs? And that is one of today's jobs. Okay, so it's just purely wood. And okay, that's very interesting. Okay, I've never waxed a chair, I'm going to admit. This is a new experience for me. Yeah, that seems like a fair thing to say to me. And what else? Games played. Have you played any good games recently? I played a bit of Unfinishable with one of my parents. I'm quite, even though it still has the main issue for me, which is that Unfinishable, I love Paul Mansfield's thing, that's why it won. The only issue for me is that it can lead to analysis paralysis, and 2 players, you need to be willing to let the other players sometimes take a minute over their move. But for 2 people, if I'm sitting down with a parent, if I've got, a book that I had a book that I was reading intermittently. Let me lean back and show you this book that I am starting to read. It's by Wargame. It's by Natalia Votovics, who's been working for NATO, and it's all about wargaming experiences. It's not about war games for entertainment. It's about war games for actually training people and personnel, and that's really interesting things. And yeah, we played a bit of Unfinishable. That was good fun. I also played 2 games of Rummy because, you need to play the game that your other parents like sometimes, even though you might hate that game. So, yes. I've also never waxed the chair. It's a learning process. I hope it goes well. And played Eruption on Board Game Geek with some friends last night. It had its moments, but I think it would be a lot better on tabletop. BG, do you mean Board Game Arena? I don't think Board Game... I'm assuming you mean Board Game Arena. I played Eruption on Board Game Arena with some friends last night. I've not heard of that. I would be interested to check it out. So, and yeah, shout out to our friend Xate. If you want to mention Xate, then there will be some love for Xate. Sonic Mania. Is that the one where they've got all the levels from throughout history? Man, I love me some old school Sonic. Yeah, that's where it's at. Okay, so that is some recent highlights. And if anyone has any questionable quick questions, then chuck them in now or forever hold your peace. The first question that I always ask myself is, where am I? What time is it? It is 10:07. I am in the third story of a Glaswegian house, and I'm normally based in London. To the right of me, I've got some CDs and some games, and I deliberately put these 3 games so that Xate wouldn't be distracted by the crew anymore, which was there on that side of me. I've got, a wall, a piano, a keyboard, and a lot of boxes of stuff I made and art supplies and memories. Yeah, I feel like I should go through all those boxes and think about, do I still want to hold on to the Dreamcast? Probably. Do I still want to hold on to World of Warcraft, the board game? Probably not. Anyway, that is built a desk. I did post it already. Awesome. Oh no. I'm normally based in London, so I pay rent. I'm currently paying rent for a house in London. It's just that right now, I'm in my parents' house. So this is my old room. I'm normally based in London. But having said that, it's interesting that you should bring that up. At some point in 2022, I'm thinking late section of 2022. I originally said middle of 2021, but then things became worse. Late section 2022, I am going to aim to get myself to Thailand. And 100% agreed with this comment. Okay, so that is, if you have any questionably quick questions, then get them in quickly, because I'm moving on to the brilliant thing. Brilliant thing, what's a little thing which is brilliant? Okay, in the absence of anything else to talk about, recently I've just started asking my guests, why are you brilliant? And then when we're talking about games, why is this game brilliant? And let's talk about word games. I mean, let me actually change the size of the thing. So, yeah, why Actually, you know what? I'm going to be even more expansive than that. Why is the L deck brilliant? And should I post the desk in Discord? Sure. Do that in like the share cool stuff or the general chats or wherever it feels like appropriate. I'd be interested to see it. Not going to see it like right this instant because I'm streaming, but I would be. Actually, I might see it later on. But yeah. So L deck. Why is the L deck brilliant? I think that the L deck is brilliant because this one, particularly, it's very accessible in terms of the typography. I'm quite proud of the fact that I had a visually impaired person who was struggling to see it at a convention, and well, they were visually impaired, and then they said, "Oh, I don't think I'll be able to play a fast game." And then we were playing Wibble, and then after a few rounds, they were, "Oh my god, I'm actually able to compete. I'm able to engage." Now, this was partially because everyone else was getting more obligations, and there's a strong catch-up mechanism in that, and yeah, but I do think that the letter shapes, at least for this version, are really strong. I think the thing about the L deck is that I believe that games are for everyone. I believe that there's a game for everyone, and I want you to be able to have this deck, and for me to be able to guide you to say, hey, this is a good game for you. And if you've got one, then you can play loads of different games for it. But it's not like a deck of playing cards where you need to search out these games, or they're not necessarily curated by anyone until, you know, hundreds or thousands of years later when a few people think, okay, actually it's worth curating these. I'm trying to get a big community, and I think the reason it's brilliant, I mean, actually that word, community, that's what it's all about. The fact that you know, like Xate and Alex and Tom Cauldron and Jessica Eccles and, you know, everyone, and Paul Mansfield and, you know, Lewis Shaw, like everyone who submitted ideas for this, and Chris Chung, and like I'm missing so many names, and I do apologize, but those were just some of the winners and the highlights, and like David Brain, and oh my god, David Brain, how could I forget David Brain? And Javier, who, and you know, yeah, it's everyone's contributing all of these ideas, and I think that is what makes it brilliant. So yeah, a quick shout out to my contest. I really should get a tag for the contest, but if you go to stuffbybez.com/contest, that will redirect you to the design contest. Oh. And so, why is Quintuple brilliant? Why might you enjoy Quintuple? And let me bring that to my, now I am chatting about Quintuple. Quintuple is brilliant because it's turn-based, it's serene, it's gentle, it's, yeah, good times. I think that if you like word games, if you don't like competition because everyone's working on games on words themselves, but they still have things going on, the fact that essentially in Quintuple, what happens is that lower letters, so L, W, K, L, M, you know, anything that's on the bottom is worth 1 point. Anything that's on the top is worth 0. So if you make a simple word like train or TRAIN, then those letters wouldn't give you any points. But if you make hub, for example, HUB, those letters would give you 3 points. So you'd be better off making the word hub. And it's all about thinking about words in a wee bit of a different way, thinking about, okay, what words can I make with a U in it? And what do I have here? And how, oh my God, how useful is that H? And so, yeah, also drafting's quite fun, and I enjoy the flexibility that the L deck offers me because you never feel too scuppered. Let me explain how to play it. So this, I should have had a wee how to play logo. So how to play, you set up, you put 5 cards out, there we go, 5 cards, and that's That's it. That's it. That's it set up. So you need to be able to see these cards. So we've got to TCI. Okay. Now, there's two ways to play. You can play it multiplayer or you can play it solitaire. I will explain the solitaire. I will play it solitaire, but I won't. So on your turn, you take a card. I am going to take this one because C is very useful and I is pretty good, but yeah, or actually, I'll go for the L. Now, we get to, after each card is taken, there would be another card coming out, and then the opponent would take a card. And then I have another go. And on it goes until I want to make a word from the cards that I've collected. So at any point, I could say, well, is would be a word. Again, remember, scoring 0 points. And opponents will take this one. The solo rules, by the way, are that the opponent takes the card with the highest number, just in case you want to play it solo. And I am going to take Bloom. That could work if I don't get anything else. And then opponent takes this one. Oh, gets a choice. And then I take this, and opponent takes that. I take this, and my opponent takes that. Like with multiple players, you would actually be refreshing it between each player, but solo, you just lay it out on your turn. Now, on my turn, instead of taking a card, and you are only allowed to have 5 in your hand at any one time, instead of taking a card, I am allowed to make a word. My word, as you can see, is bloom, B-L-O-O-M. So 2 of them just get discarded. They are worth no points. If I use remember any of the top letters, they score 0 points, but the B, L, and M, that scores me 1 point each. So that's 3 points. But not only that, because I made a 5-letter word, which is the maximum length. So I take 2 cards. I don't get to see them off the top of the deck. I put them in my little pile. You can't see that, but it's just off to the side. Maybe I'll put it there so that you can remember that's my little pile. And it's like, boom, now I've got some points. I've got 5 points. That feels pretty good. And the AI takes that one, refresh it, and on I go again. Again, I'm looking, okay, what should I take? What should I take? What do I go for? Okay, let's see. I could take the M. K is actually surprisingly useful sometimes. I will take the M because I know that at this point AI is going to take one of the cards with a 3 on it. I will take the L because LM, or it could be films, or it could be blame, or, and that goes away, and 2 more come up. And palm. Oh, we could have palms, or yeah, palm. And that goes away. And oh, okay, I will take that. I'm really hoping for an S to come up. Come on, come on, bring me an S. Bring me an S. Yes, boom, boom, boom. Okay, S. And the AI takes that one, and you can see how the center is kind of starting to clog up. That's something that happens sometimes. Okay, so palms. Again, I score exactly the same for this one. I managed to get a P, an L, and an M. These 2 letters do not score. I use the top letters. These 3, I keep them as points. I don't need to remember how many. I don't need to write it down anywhere. I put down 2 additional cards. Boom, I got 5 points that turn. And then the AI takes that. I'm working through. I'm trying to get a... Normally with a multiplayer game, once this deck runs out, you would flip the discard. You wouldn't actually shuffle it. You would just flip it. and then keep going. With a solitaire game, you just play once for the discard, so it is a wee bit faster. And this is a tricky one. I do like a G, and having an A on the same card, that's pretty good, and that goes away. G, S is pretty useful. Mange, hang, HAN. I'm going to take this just because, yeah. Bangs, hanger, hung. Oh, yes, of course. Do you? Wait a minute. Yeah, well, I've made my choice. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, could I go shrug? SHRUG, although that is only 2 points. That's not the best. Huggy. That's not a word, is it? Is huggy a word? Like someone who's really into hugging. But also, this is where you start thinking about the composition of the deck. Lurk. Oh, I appreciate you lurking, Rob. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. Is huggy a word? I am going to have a quick, cheeky look up on Collins English Dictionary to see, is huggy a person who wants to hug a lot? Yes, huggy. Sensitive and caring, a soft, lovely, huggy person. There we go. But I know that there are 3 Gs in the deck. I know that one of them has already gone out. There might be one left here, or there might be one left here, which is why you get some cards coming as extra points sight unseen, because it adds a little bit of uncertainty. You don't know what's going on. So it would be really silly of me to try and go for huggy. So am I going to do it? Having just said how silly it is it really that silly? Yep, it would be silly. Can I think of a better word? Gushy? Oh, gushy. Is gushy a word? Like someone who gushes a lot. I just want to check that. Again, a quick double check. I'm not just gushy, like, yep, gushier or gushiest. There we go. So, gushy. What I've got to do is oh no, that means that I take this one and there's no more Y's. Oof, that means that I might not be able to make gushy. Let me actually do a quick cheeky. How many H's are gone? Okay. I'm getting too competitive. One, the other Y's already in here. 2 H's are outside. I'm going to take this one, knowing that that goes away, hoping that there's another H. Ah, well. Oh, wait, there's an S. Yes, that works. And that goes away. And boom, nice. Okay, that gives me an even better word. As you can see, I've got gushy, which is definitely a word because I just double checked it. And gushy is a 4-point word. So I lose this one that was scoring 0 points. Everything that I used the bottom of, plus 2 points from here. And boom, exciting. So now AI takes that one. So what happens here? I'm going to take a U just because U is so useful. Wait, sorry, it should have taken that one before 2 came out. D is pretty darn good. I'm going to take that one. Oh, and now we're going to finish off the game just running out of these cards. So, Dune? Yeah, I could make Dune. Dude. Oh, dude, that's even better. And so, because all the numbers are the same, I decide which one the AI takes. I'm going to let it take that one. I will take that. Oh, if only I could make a 5-letter word, then I would get the 2-point bonus. Yeah, I can't think of one. And I take that one, and then I make a dude, and dude gives me 3 more points. And that's the end of the game. So at the end, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19 points. That is the end of the game. And so, yeah, now you've got an idea of what Quintuple is all about. And I'm just going to bring up. If you wish to check out Quintuple for yourself, then please do check it out on these places. So I'm just putting that into the comments. That's where you can find all the rules to some things for the L deck, where you can find the Quintuple thing specifically. And yep, it's also the Twitter account for the L deck. So please follow the Twitter account. Now, let me double check, and I'm just going to share the screen while I'm looking at this. I'm going to just double check in the rules. How well did I do? And there's a solo variant. 19. I did good. Oh, that's slightly disappointing. I thought I did great, but apparently not. Yeah. Apparently I was only good. Oh well. There you go. I could have, I guess, made more perfect 5-letter words. So let me just double check. Yeah. Did I guess I think my previous self must have managed to get 25 at some point. Wow. So let's talk about the game. What do I think about it? Oh, hello, Matthew. I'm just talking about Quintuple, which is a game that I made for the L deck. And I was good. I wasn't just a bare success. I was actually good. But I scored 19, so I was barely good. Which I felt like I'd done better than good, but so well. I mean, maybe my scoring is a bit too harsh. I don't know. But yeah, you know what? Good is good enough. Good is good enough. I like that attitude. Thank you. So what do I like about Quintuple? You've already seen all that. At the time, let's talk about how it came about. There was a time ages ago when Lewis Shaw suggested to me, what about a game that uses the L deck that's all about place names? Because there's loads of word games that don't use place names, but what if you had to have a game that only used place names? Now, I never quite got this to a stage where I was entirely comfortable with, but there was a game called Geographical, and in Geographical you got bonus points for if you have something that's outside of your own country, you get a bonus point. If you have something that's outside of your continent, you get a bonus point. And so I like that, the fact that it's asking you to know places outside of that. And thank you very much for the lurk, Matthew. I very much appreciate it. Now, Geographical, it had this basic drafting of taking one thing from the center of the table. And that was a key thing that I had there. There was this other game that I developed called Handbuildell. Handbuildell is a very in-depth game that's all about... Oh, I'll have to explain that one day. Handbuildell is about making sets of cards that are differently... at the end, you try to get to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as many times as you can. And of course, of different difficulties. So it's a drafting, there's a bit of purchasing, it's a bit of hand building. Whenever you make a word, whatever words you made, the number of lower letters that you used would be your economy. So let's say you had managed to make the word cloud. Let's say I had an L here. Then I would be getting 4 points, and with that 4 points of economy for C, L, U, and D, I would be able to buy stuff. Now, with the purchase piles, anyway, there's a lot to that game. I'm not here to talk about that game, but there was so much going on. But this whole aspect of I'm getting a point for the lower letters. I'm not getting any points for the higher letters. That seemed to be an interesting thing. Capping at 5 seemed to be interesting. And honestly, I don't think it changed that much afterwards. I'm now going to have a quick look at the credits thanks history to see if there's anything that I've forgotten. Yep, inspired heavily by Geographical's drafting and scoring system and hand-build-L's incentivization of using the lower letters. And yep, it was because David Brain and I really enjoyed playing hand-build-L. And yeah, I think that, yeah, I definitely had 6 cards in the middle when I started, but then that went down to 5 because 5 seemed to be enough to have a bit of tension there. And I was trying to work out exactly how to end the game. Unfortunately, with the number of cards in the deck, it feels like if you've got 2 players, it's a good solid game. If you've got 1 player, okay, you only need to go for the deck once, and it's still a satisfying experience. With 4 players, you're still getting enough turns. But with 5 players, when you divide the 48 by 5, because it's going to end up in your score piles, 5 players, it just wasn't ever satisfying. And so in theory, if I had 2 L decks and then you shuffled them together, in theory that could be a game of quintuple for 5 players, but would that then be too long? I don't know. And that's why quintuple, you're trying to make a 5-letter word. Your hand limit is 5. You got a bonus for 5. There's 5 cards in the center, and it's for 1 to 4 players. That's just a slightly unsatisfying thing. That's the one. It used to be for 2 to 4 players, and then there's this person, Giles Pound. I can't remember their website, but you can search for them. Giles Pound writes about board games, has a blog, and writes about solitaire word games. And I had invented a couple of solo games, and then Giles was really excited by this. And then I said, you know what, because people are being so excited by this, at least one person, seeing that someone was actually getting value from it, I should make a solo version of this. And all that I had to think was, okay, how does the AI know which card to take away? And it was, okay, the AI takes away the card with the highest number, and that's actually worked surprisingly well. So then that was boom. And yeah, thanks to all those people who are listed, Richard Buxton, Scott Moore for setting up the big Birmingham Board Game Bash where it got tested a bit more, Emily for playtesting stuff. Yeah, all these people. And so, yeah, that is how it came together. It was a very straightforward design. What would I like to change? If I could change something, I don't know how I would change it, but the one bit that I'm still unhappy with, I've already talked about it. I'm unhappy that it can't be playable with 5 players. What do I like? What do I like? Let's be a bit more positive. What do I appreciate? I appreciate the fact that it's a turn-based game. For the L deck, even though it is a whole bunch of word games, I started off with Wibble, and then I had some language games, and yeah, what is it? Wibble, it's a speedy word game. Grabble, it's like a grabby game. Phrasal and Fable, it's like storytelling, jokey games. Couple, it's a cooperative game. Alphabetical, it's an abstract game. So there's not actually a traditional everyone takes turns and you're making words kind of game. And this just feels like a really nice, simple drafting game. There's not too much to it. I've been able to teach this really easily. I feel it's got simple rules. Hopefully, if you watch the earlier bits, then you will be able to, you would have been able to understand what was going on. So that is the game. Let me check my prompt. So how did I make it? Already, yep. Who did I play? Do I still play it? I still sometimes, yeah. I've not played it for over a year, but there's a lot of games that I've not played for over a year. I was actually thinking, oh, maybe that's a game that I could potentially show to my parents, because even though one of them isn't so good at English, it's a game where you can help them and it's not too problematic. the person who goes after them in turn order might be annoyed if you say, oh, take that card, and that was the card that the person after them really, really wanted. But if you are that person and you're giving them a bit of help, or out of the cards in their hands, you kind of make some suggestions. I think it's a nice game where you can offer guidance because everyone puts their hands open on the table. And yeah, with a small child, I've been able to play it and say, okay, you, I, yeah, I helped them enough that they were getting plenty of points. So yeah, let's. I'm going to now play Quintuple one last time, and then I will probably finish up, and that will be my wee thing. So unless anyone for this break has any questions about it or anything else. I'm going to see if I can beat my score of 19. Because apparently 25 is possible, although, yeah. I mean, so whenever you take one of the, I misplayed. It says whenever you take one of the 5 cards from the middle of the table, also discard one. So it's if you make a word, you don't discard one. Okay, so I should have actually had a few more letters at the end. Okay, so I forgot my own rules. But anyway, let us start again. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, which one am I going for? H is very useful. There's only one R on the thing. I'm thinking like chirp, merch, Dutch. Okay. U is so useful. H is super useful. Do I go for the D because there's only one on the board? I'm still going for the H, and then I'm going to get the AI to discard that. Okay. Boom, I'm going to go for the C because I just know that C is super useful. The CH. It is. Oh, I would love to do butch, but I cannot. But mulch, if I get something, or I wonder if for the one-player game, and I just saw discard some. Okay. I wonder if for the one-player game there should be an option to just throw away everything. Mulch, if I'm lucky. Mulch. Which one would I rather keep? Oh no, lurch. Oh, if only I had an R. Lunch. Oh, this is not good. Okay, this. Oh, I know. Loud. Ugh. What can I do here? What can I do here? Looch, Lochy, Locus. No. I could do Locus. I mean, it feels like. Okay, let me take the L for Locus and throw that one away. And okay, L. If I score this word, it will be 3 plus 2 points is 5. If I take the lunch, if I take that, it would be an extra point. It would be 4 plus 2 is 6. Is it worth me taking this? Because you are allowed to take a 6th card as long as you throw away one of the cards that you've already got. The hand limit is 5, but you are allowed to take an extra, just you need to discard one. But oh, wait a minute. I could have done launch. Oh no, I couldn't have because I didn't have the N. So I am going to stick with the locus. I'm going to stick with the locus. I throw away the O and the S because top letters score 0. Score those free. No, takesy backsy. Sorry about this. I am going to take that N and throw away that one. And then that one goes thrown away and boom. While I can get my extra points. Okay, so I am going to go for the lunch. So now I've got 4 points plus 2. Okay, so now we start again. Do I take the... I've got to prioritize these ones because I know this is what the AI is going to take. Do I take the D because otherwise it's going to be gone? Do I take the U? I'm going to take the D and then the AI takes the W. And then I will take the U, I think. And even though G is pretty good, muddy. Oh, muddy. I could do mud. Oh no, I can't do muddy because I would have to take all 3 of these, and I'm not going to get them because once I take that, AI is going to take that. Unless I take this one and AI takes that, hoping that there's another D. There might be another D. Let's see what happens. If I don't get my D, I could do something else, I think. Come on, a D. Okay. Okay, what can I do here? Dummy, you dumb. Okay, what can we get? And the thing about quintuple is that it kind of focuses your mind because normally this is actually a really good game for people who aren't familiar with the L deck because normally the top letters it's all about, oh, do I use the top? Do I use the bottom? Here it's very focused on, okay, how do I use these bottom letters? And it's focuses your mind, it narrows it down so it's not complete analysis paralysis, if you know what I mean. But then you've got the top letters just to help you along the way. I feel like this is my favorite of the games to just play in a chilled out setting. Oh, thank you very much for popping by, Duchess. I really appreciate that. And I hope that your tabletop live network thing is going very well. And yeah, thank you very much, Duchess. I'm just playing a wee bits of this and trying to work out a word, ideally using MUDY and one of these other letters. Or if it basically a 5-letter, I've got these are the 4 cards that I've got, these are the cards that I can choose from, and I want every lower letter that I use is 1 point, the top letters are 0 points. But anyway, you need to get to bed, lots of love, and yeah, have a good night's sleep. Can I think of, if only I had more, oh, this is difficult. Moi? Oh, donuts? Dune. Now, this is where I think, oh, why didn't I play differently? Was I just Doogie? And Dookie? Oh, Dookie. Would Dookie be a word like a duke? Well, it's not just a duke, a dookie. Like it's kind of duke. It's a bit dukey. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking it up in the Collins English Dictionary. Dukey. Oh no, there's no word for dukey, but there is the word dikey. Like oh, it's an offensive. Huh? Did I once use that word? It's not even the best word. So if I feel like I'm going to play the thing that gets me the points. Yeah, I'm going to take that, sorry. And I'm going to discard that. These go down, and I get throw away the I and the E that I used because the top letters are worth 0. These are worth 1 point each, plus I made a 5-letter word, so I get 2 bonus. Boom, and on I go. So I think I'm doing fairly well so far. Let's see. So what do I really want? I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. And what don't I want? Probably not DEY. Oh, C can be pretty good, like bang or. But remember, once I take something, AI takes a thing, and B is just so good. I'm going to take that B. Brag. Oh, brags. Great. But blag. Oh, these pag. B. Gap. Gan. Pang. Yeah, I feel like I've got to start using some of these letters. Okay, I'll take the. I'm thinking just binge or bingo or biggie or gib gob buggy. I've already got the G over there. I'm not going to rely on a. Let me take the A, because actually, if I'm using it for an A, I'm going to take the worst one. Actually, let me take this one, and then that falls away. Oh, baggy. Oh no, wait. The other Y's already gone, hasn't it? The other Y's already gone. Bagger, baggin. But let me double check. Has the other Y? Yep, the other Y was already here. Damn. Darn. Oof. Some strong language from me. Brags? Ooh, I could do brags. Yep, if I take this, AI takes this, and then, ooh, I could do blags. Do I want to do that, or do I just want to do this to get the points? Bearing in mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I definitely want to get my final 5-letter. So I'm going to not wait. These two come out. I'm going to, unfortunately, throw 3 of them away. Keep 2 and 2 here. Okay, now our final word. Pangs. Oh, prang. Oh, prang. The R's pretty good. I'm going to throw this away because P is pretty good. AI takes that. Now okay. Abort. How can I? Okay, gop. Oh, G8. No. If only there was an S. An S makes everything so much easier. Group. Oh, I could. Oh no. O and U are on the same card. I could do. Grime. Oh, I could do grime. Yes, grime could definitely work. So I take that discards. I take this one. Grump. That's even better. And one of these 2 discards, and it doesn't matter. And boom, I've got a 4, losing 4 of the lower things, and that goes away. I keep 4 of them, and I take 2 more as a bonus. Boom, I feel like I've done a lot better that time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 21. And how did I do? Apparently, I did great. I think that these scores are a bit harsh. I think that I should have. That felt like I was brilliant, but I don't know. Yeah, but I'm pretty chuffed with that. I am pretty darn chuffed. So yeah, that is Quintuple. And if you've watched this video and if you're watching along, let me know if you have any questions at all about the game. So yeah, how does it differ with multiple players? Of course, this is another game that at some point I need to put in a little illustration here. I probably should put in some diagrams. It is a bit wordy, to be honest. So yeah, I feel like my instructions were fairly reasonable. Use lower letters, aim for 5-letter words, 15 to 30-ish minutes, 2 to 4 players. And maybe I don't know, do I put 2 to 4 players with a 1-player variant? Yeah, probably. Take cards from a selection of 5. You can have up to 5 in your hand. Make words scoring for all the lower letters you use. Score a bonus for 5-letter words. And I feel like that was a good overview. Deal 5 cards into the center of the table. Place the rest of the draw deck nearby. There will be a single discard pile later on. The quietest player says the fewest word, who says the fewest words starts the game. Or the youngest player starts. Yeah, I probably should have said or choose randomly. Yeah, I would now probably say or choose randomly. There is a slight advantage to going first, so yeah, that was my attempt at humor. And it's been pointed out that sometimes you've got to assume that people are actually playing by the rules. So turn overview. Each turn you may choose one of the 5 cards in the center of the table. It should then be replaced from the face down draw deck. Yeah, this is terrible writing. I would say then, comma, replace it from the face down draw deck. Yeah, this passive voice doesn't sound so good. Then replace it with a card from the face down draw deck. And yeah, you can do it, or the player to your left. It doesn't really matter, but that's the kind of thing that I don't really need to draw and write in the rules. Sometimes you can over explain, and sometimes it makes it feel slightly over complicated. Alternatively, you may claim a word. Whichever you do, it is now the turn of the player to your left. Hand limits. You can only have 5 cards in your hands. Yeah. And do I need to define what your hand is? If you collect a 6 card, and this is terrible pass bet, and 6 card, you must discard one of your cards before your next turn. Claiming a word, you may use the cards you have collected to make a word. If you do, that is your entire turn, and you can't also pick up a card. Yeah, nowadays I would actually just italicize that, because you already know that you're making a word by the time you get to the sentence. You've already heard that alternatively you may claim a word. So this is really just restating things that you already know. So I don't need to put it in the normal text. And hello, Zihark Sama. I appreciate you very much dropping in. Thank you so much. I'm just going over an old game that I made, Quintuple. I've played it a couple of times just today. And I am now going over the rules and reading it aloud and criticizing my own writing from a couple of years ago. Yeah, I just said that this really should have been italicized. No problem, glad to be here. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you. You don't need to use all your cards, but each letter in the word must be on a card, and each card can represent 1 letter at most. Yeah, that's fairly clear. You should be able to display the word by placing cards in a line, shift them up, down to show which letters you are using. This is where, just here, there should probably be a little illustration of me putting down cards. like if I had a little illustration of CL yeah if I showed that, for example, or I'm trying to actually, yeah, people who watch this, if I had clown, for example, and then it would say boom, and then have that as an example, because yeah, that's, really should have had diagrams. It's not a competition. We just aspire to be better. That's the important thing. We just aspire to be better. The word must not be a proper noun. No names of people, companies, characters, or even places. This should be italicized. That is not key rules text. This should be a new paragraph. That should have been on the second line. Once you have shown your word, discard one. It should be once you have made your word, discard any cards that you used for the top letter. Place the others, those used for the lower letter, into the personal face down score pile. And this is again where, if I had a thing, it should say, for example, the OD and NZ are discarded, the other three are kept. That would have been, if you made a 5-letter word, take 2 extra cards from the top of the draw deck and add those without looking to the top of your score pile. And when the draw pile finishes, simply flip over the discard pile to create a new draw pile. Do not shuffle. And that is it. When the draw pile and the discard pile are empty, you will find yourselves unable to replace a card just selected. At this point, any discarded cards will be removed from the game. If you are taking extra cards for scoring a 5-letter word, first take them from any cards removed from the game, including those from cards you just used. If there aren't 2 available, take the remainder from the cards in the middle of the table. If you still haven't gotten your 2 extra cards, remember to add 2 to your final score. The game continues until all the cards have been taken from the middle of the table, and then everyone has had as many chances to make words as they need. Scoring, whoever has the most cards in their score pile is the winner. So that is the game. And Zihark-sama, I don't know if you fancy, but if you fancy playing a 2-player game, we could play a 2-player game. I could get you to join in. This is the Because I Know You through Aircon, and it was lovely to have you. I'm just going to paste that link to you. So if you click on that link, then you would jump in on video and we could chat and we could play a quick 2-player game. If you don't fancy playing right now, that is totally fine. I will play a last game on my own. And if you have any questions about how this game was made or anything, then of course I am more than happy to answer any questions. Let's see. Solo variants, we talked about that. What's a word? Honestly, I feel like, yeah, do I need these 2 lines in the main rules? Probably. Fair warning, I'm not great as I struggle with grammar and what is considered a noun adverb. What do I mean by italicizing text? You know, italics. Like here, that's in italics. This bit is in italics, and can you see that? Yeah, you can see what I'm highlighting. And this bit is not in italics. And quite often in rule books, by the way, Zihark-sama, or also Bodhi, because I know you, if you want to jump on, it's totally fine, and I will let you jump in. If you don't want to, it's also okay. So in Magic the Gathering, I think this is where it started. Magic the Gathering has what they call flavor text in italics. And I use this principle in my rulebook, which hopefully after a while people get to know, and they say, oh, okay, so the bits that aren't so important are in italics. The bits that are in italics, I can learn to just skip them. And for me, this indicates that it's a bit that it's like reminder text. It's something that you don't need to read, but if you're confused at that point, if you want to read every word, then you can read it. And that's totally fair, and that is exactly correct. That is exactly what it's all about. And Zihark Sama, let me plug in my headphones so that I can hear you and sorry about this. We have a special guest, and thank you very much for joining. Seahawk Summer, can you speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay!
Yay! Thank you
Nice,
for letting
sweet
me
icon,
joining.
by the way.
It's just the generic one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
believe
it
so.
used to be different. Is that not a logo to do with you?
No, it's not actually anything to do with me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, so are you comfortable with the rules? I will explain again as we go along if you are unclear on anything, but are you comfortable enough with the rules? And I will set up the game so that both of us can play.
If you could go over them, that'd be great because I joined in just as you were finishing the rules explanation.
That is totally fair. Well, essentially, on your turn, you take one of these cards, and I'll go first. It is a small advantage to go first, I'm not going to lie, but just for the sake of showing you, I'm looking at these cards. I'm thinking which one is the best. But note that when you make your word, I'll explain the scoring first of all. That's the most important thing. What's the word that I can actually. Brig. Brig is the word, right? If I made the word brig, this would score 2 points because you scored 0 points for the AINORST. Anything on the top, you score 0 points for. Anything on the bottom, you score 1 point for. So I would score 2 points. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense. So you score points for the bottom, not the top, correct?
Exactly. But if you make a 5-letter word, you score 2 bonus points. So, for example, Riggs only scores 1 point, but Briggs, rather than just scoring 2 points, actually scores 4 just because you've made a 5-letter word. And if you make a 5-letter word, you just keep the cards as points. I will explain that as we go. You don't really need to know that. It's a drafting game, so I will keep that will be the market. I will keep your things over here and maybe my things over here, if that makes sense. Oh wait, that is a wee bit hard to see. That's
Yep.
R. I think that's. Sorry about my cluttered desk. There, you can hear all the pencils moving around. So now that I've explained it, on your turn you either get to choose a card or keep the word, or make a word. And so you are going to start off with choosing a card. Which card would you like?
We'll go with A and G.
A and G. Another card comes up for me, and I quite like G as well. So, and I don't want you to get double G, so I'm going to go with that. Sorry. I guess there is a little bit of hate drafting, potentially.
It's fine. As I said, I'm not the best on these kind of games, so we'll see what happens.
It's all good. It's all good. So your turn.
We'll go with I and B.
I and B. Okay. Oh, stop swinging round headphone cable. Okay, I am going to go with. Oh, yeah, I'll also go with a B. Okay. Your turn.
Let's go with S and D.
Oh. Let me actually. How can I make it more? Yeah, you can see that at least. It's not ideal, but I'm thinking an R. I want the R and the L. L is pretty darn good, I think.
We'll go with E and P.
This game really makes me value the soft consonants like the L and the R as well, to be fair, but the L's the only one on the bottom that you can do blame, or so it can go with another consonants. It's where you can get two consonants in a row that you start to really appreciate them. And I'm going to go with AW. And your fifth card,
T and M.
TM. If you need me to rearrange these for you, then I am going to accept that right now you are having a harder time of it because I can move my cards around, whereas
It's fine.
you
I can see
can't.
them all.
Okay, I am thinking black. Oh, I really, really wanted an S. I was just hoping for. I'm not. I'm going to take this U because I think that gives me a few really good, nice options. Your turn. You are allowed to take a sixth card if you want, but then you need to discard one. The hand limit is 5.
Okay, so I have to. So I start creating words with what's out on the field and what I have in hand. Is that correct?
Oh no, it's just what you've got in hand. Sorry.
Oh, so it's only a 5-letter. So you're limited to 5-letter words then.
Exactly. And if you make a 5-letter word, it's 2 bonus points.
Okay. So what happens when I claim a word?
So let's say on my turn, I'm not going to say I will definitely do this. I might. In fact, I almost certainly will. Let's say I do blows, BLOWS, for the stuff that I used at the top. That's ignore. I lose those. It's not scored. The other 3 go into a scoring pile that I will keep off to the side, and I get a bonus 2 if it's 5 letters. So for blows, I would score 5 points, which is pretty good. Bear in mind, I have played this game quite a lot.
I'll take the T and H and replace the I and B.
Okay, so I and B just goes out of the game.
Yep.
And that's our discard pile.
Yep.
I will shimmy. Okay. I'm going to go with blows. So blows, that's 2 cards that get discarded. 3 cards get kept in my wee discard pile, which is going to be off to that corner. And then 2 cards that no one gets to look at, I add to my discard pile. So, I scored some points. And now it is your turn.
Well, I do have one, but it's not going to be as valuable. Mates, MATES.
Nice. I mean, at least you got your 5-letter bonus, plus you scored 1 for here. So these go away. You keep that.
As I said, this is not going to be a game I'm going to be good at.
That's totally fair. And thank you for allowing yourself to be vulnerable in this way, if you know what I mean. Because I know it might not, playing a game that you're not going to be great at. So
That's fine.
I'm definitely taking the C because I just think that C is such a valuable letter. Because if I get to C and an H, now I'm talking. You start to learn these kinds of combinations of letters and start thinking of them that's one thing I like about this game. It makes you think about words in a different way.
We'll go with S and B for now.
S and B. That seems like a solid choice. Okay, I'm going for R or W because I'm thinking it could be crows, it could be all sorts of things.
T and L.
T and L, that's a good one. L is always a good one. I think, do I want to go... Do I want CROWS? Yeah, crows is actually C R. Cows. Do I just? I'm going to take the OD because I feel like D is more useful than F.
I and Y.
And Y, nice. I'm going to go drag. I'm just wondering if I can. I'll go with the A and the L, which seems solid.
Is there a way to like clear the market if there's nothing you're after? Just out of curiosity.
No, there isn't, but that's interesting because I was kind of pondering that. Do you think? Yeah, it does. It doesn't feel like there's an easy way to integrate that into the game.
Yeah, unless like you take on a penalty card for doing it or something.
Like maybe you have to discard one of your points.
Yeah. So it's not free to do.
Yeah, like you definitely shouldn't be able to just get rid of it. I mean, currently, this is the way that the game tends that at the start there's all these great words, and then later on it's like, okay, that X is probably going to stay there for a while, unless at some point someone just wants it for the S, which is I could definitely see happening. But this is where sometimes you are going to just be taking extra letters to eke out that extra point. If you know
Yeah,
what I mean, like
I'll
discarding
go for A and M for now.
A and M. No, there's not a rule for that, but that's definitely something I could consider. And the whole thing that I was saying earlier about the L deck is that it's all about the community. And if people want to try their own rules or house rule something, I would be really interested to hear how that goes with people. Ooh, I just realized I've CLOWN. Boom.
Ooh. I will go with O and F.
O and F. Nice. So I have, wait a minute, first we should replace that. And I have, as you can see in my hand, clown, CLOWN.
Yep.
And the O and the N get thrown away. That's another 3 points plus 2 points. I'm very happy with how that turned out. And that was very nice for me. So
and for me, it's going to be films.
films, nice. So you got 2 of them discarded, plus 2 come up. And you've got 5 points for that word. Nice work. Okay, I am going to go with the H.
E and L.
Very suitable for the L deck. I will take that P. There's a little bit of hidden information because the 8 cards that we've removed from the deck, we don't know what they are. So in theory, I know that there's 2 P's in the deck. That's what the numbers are. So there are 2 P's in the deck. I might be thinking, hey, we've not seen a P yet, I don't think. Maybe there will be another P in this little bit, but maybe it'll be thrown out. I really don't know.
Let's go for E and K.
I was thinking about that, especially if a C comes up. K.
Let's go for N and D.
I was thinking that. Okay. I will go S and X. Because I see myself needing that S.
Trying to think of what I want. R and M.
So that's down there. New thing comes out. And just to let you know, when the deck runs out, we flip over the discard, so the game's not over straight away. But then each time we go for the discard, it is a lot faster because a lot of them are in our score piles.
Yep.
I am going to go for this one, B and W.
Trying to think of what I want here. It's very difficult.
Want me to rearrange your things to see if that helps, you think?
Yeah, I don't think I've got many words right now, unfortunately. Let's go for A and J.
A and J. Okay. I have got helps, which is another 5-pointer, and 2 of them go away. I get 2 bonuses, which we don't know what they are, and that comes out. And these are your cards. Here at the bottom, that's the market at the top. Let me know if you want me to reshuffle these or anything to potentially help you see things. It's a difficult one because you start to appreciate the value of having a bunch of letters in your hand and being able to say, oh yeah, I can move that around, and okay, TR, okay, oh yeah, you can do trove, even though trove is a terrible word in this game because it only has one lower letter. But
yeah, it's really difficult. This is incredibly difficult for me. Like just just because because I struggle so much with English. I'm really not seeing anything. We'll replace A and J with E and M for now. It's like I just can't see anything.
Okay. There's not, the letters have started to be a bit more challenging, and I'm going to take the OH. I'll put your words here again and mine here. And that's the final letter. And as soon as that goes, as soon as the pile is empty, discard pile just flips over. That's about half done. So you'll probably get a third and a fourth word in. Ooh, there's a lot of E's there that you've got.
Yeah, no. The E's don't actually count for much, other than helping me score a word. They're not actually worth much.
Oh yeah. I mean, the E is worth literally nothing, but yeah, it's all about thinking, what can I make? Just focusing on the lower letters, and then how can I? What vowels will I need to? Also, remember the top letters.
Replace N and D with S and C.
If S and C. Swish. And I don't know what D is pretty good. I'm taking a CD. You sounds like you might have something.
Yep. Memes.
Ooh, nice.
Not really. It's only 2 letters out of that that are actually useful.
Well,
in terms of scoring.
I've been playing it like goodness knows how many times, and you scored 4 points. You not as good as my 5 points, but remember that I have been playing it a lot.
And I struggle with English.
Yeah, so I am going to take that U because U is the one vowel that's on the bottom.
We'll go with an R and a B.
B. God. Oof, I don't know what to do here. I will probably take this. OV. There's a little bit of knowing the deck. If you know that the letters on top are A, E, I, N, O, R, S, T, you know that those are the letters that you're more likely to be able to get if you sort of need them to make your word work.
Let's go with E and P.
Okay, speaking of which, I was relying on an N coming out, and boom.
Let's go with A and G.
Okay, so I've got words where you ain't nothing but a hound dog. That's his my thing. And O and N are thrown away. These 3 go down here. Score another 2. And oh yeah, that was meant to come out at the end of your turn.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it's your turn again.
How many cards are left in the deck? Are we allowed to know that?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8 cards in the deck and discard pile combined.
So not many more turns left.
Yep. We're definitely getting towards the end of the game.
While it's a small one, I'll go for BAP, BAP.
Oh, okay. So those 2, you know that you're not going to get your bonus for making a 5-letter word.
Yeah, but I'm reckoning I'm not sure I'm going to be having the time to do that, and so I'd rather go for a small.
I don't know if you heard, just before you do that, just to make sure you know how the game ends. At the end, were you here when I was talking about the end game?
No.
We finish this off, then there's 5 cards in the middle, then we draft the final cards, and at the very end, you will get a chance to make words, as many as you need. So you could take a card, and if you get 2 cards and you can't make a 5-letter word, you can just keep those 5 letters and make a 3-letter word, for example. And then the 2 cards that you've got remaining, you could still
I'll go for the small play. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but I'll go for the small play.
So that's BAP, BAP. And you keep those, and the A and G goes away. I will go for the H.
Yep.
And looking at one final word probably now.
Yeah, I know. We'll go with EW.
EW. Okay, and the discard pile flips over again, possibly for the last time. Let's see. I will take SX just because S is particularly useful.
We'll go with EY.
I am taking the L.
We'll go with N and no. We'll go with E and K.
E and K. And there are 3 cards left in the deck, just so you know.
Yep.
Okay, I will go with O and D.
We'll go with N and F.
N and F. And boom. I will go with the O and V.
Let's go with N
This
and
is
D.
all empty. Okay, so I am going to make the word, I'll just put them to the side for the moment. H O L T S. And so that's holds. And and at this point, because there were fewer than 5 cards left, anything that's in here just gets taken out of the game rather than just discarded. But then I get those back as my 2 points bonus for making a 5-letter word, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So you've got those.
Yep.
I may or may not be able to make a word.
Wendy.
Wendy, like a Wendy house. Nice. So again, these two get thrown out the game, but then they come back as your 2 points bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to take this one. There's 3 cards left if you can work out any possible words that I could only see one. And you can't.
Well, we're only going to have 2 cards each, aren't we?
Yep, that's correct. So if you can think, I don't.
S and C just to prevent you from taking it.
Well, I'll take the A and G, which means you get that one. And
Yep.
ab is a word.
Yeah.
Like short for abdominal muscle, which gives me 1 more point.
Yeah, I was thinking of is. I think you would have been safe either way.
Oh no! Because I would have been able to take the A from here anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, and you can't make a thing, so we count up. I know.
I think you've won. We don't even need to count.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, 5. 26 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2. So 19. So it was actually pretty close. I mean, 19 is a pretty solid score.
I mean, I don't know. I've not played. I think I did okay considering I struggled so much.
Like for your first game, I think that's a really solid score. But yeah, I understand that word games aren't typically your thing. But yeah, well, how did you find that?
It was definitely a struggle for me, possibly because of the camera and I didn't have the letters in front of me. But it was hard for me to make strategic choices since it's hard for me to come up with words, I guess. Like, it's not that I don't know words or don't know how to spell words. It's just I just have this weird problem with word games and grammar in general.
That's totally fair. But thank you for joining me, to chat about and to play through this. It was really nice to have you on. I remember meeting you, and am I mixing you up, or was you and your partner that I met at Terracon, right?
No, you actually met me a while back. This would be when ITB was. They had everyone come round. People were showing their games at that time. It was like quite a while ago, but I think I've also met you at UK Expo as well.
Well,
I know. I definitely have met you. Just we won't have interacted enough for you to know me personally, though, if that makes sense.
That's fair. Well, thank you for jumping in, and I understand that words games, yeah, are not for everyone. But if people do like words games, and if someone's watching who does actually enjoy words games, because it sounds like for you, you just would never choose to play a words game by choice.
No, considering my innate problems with just playing them.
And so for those who actually do like such games, then you might want to check it out, and you can do so at my thing where it's at stuffbybez.bigcartel.com, which is the second link where you can get a print and play version, which the deluxe version is normally £5. It's currently £2.50, and I've got, if that feels a bit too much for you, there's a Comic Sans version where it's not as nice typography. It's literally in Comic Sans, but that costs normally £1, and it's currently 50p, because I've put my print and play prices in half until the end of this pandemic craziness, is what I decided to do. Which turned out to be a bit longer than I expected a year ago. I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be going for like a few months, and then that would be it. But hey ho, it's definitely been an interesting year. And if if you have something that you want to shout out, like a link that you want to share, like put it in the private chat, and I will put it into the public comments. But I think this feels like a reasonable time to recap and wrap up. I played a couple of solitaire games. The first solo game against the AI, I got 19 points, which is apparently good. I got then 21 points, which was apparently great. And I feel like my past self might have been a bit too harsh. I'm going to reconsider these numbers, because I feel like I did great on the first time and then brilliant. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I need more affirmation these days. But why not? Why not make those goals slightly easier? Because as I kept saying, like I was doing, I felt I was doing quite well. But that's the thing. I need to playtest with more people and to just watch other people and say, hey, what score did you get? Before I can work out, okay, what is a reasonable score to say this is where you pass? Because I think back when I made those scores, it was okay, 25 is the best score that I could imagine ever getting. And what did I write? 23. Bear in mind, the one player game, you only go once through the deck, you don't keep going. So 23 was possibly like the best score that I personally managed to get. And that feels like a pretty high bar to ask other people to go, especially when my skills have clearly declined in just a year of playing a bit less. But no, I'm proud of it. I'm still happy with the game. I feel like it's a solid little words game. And yeah, I want to say thank you, everyone. Thank you, anyone who's watching, anyone watching after the fact. And thank you very much, Zihark, to
No problem.
popping in.
Are you part of the? There's some testing discords I'm part of. If you want invites to them, in case you're ever wanting to test games.
That's a fair point. I don't. I decided about a year ago that testing online just drains a lot of my energy, and so I decided to just stop doing it. But I might come back to it.
Fair
It's
enough.
something that I'll definitely consider coming back to at some point in the future. But thank you very much for the offer.
No problem. Just wanted to help you out. I exclusively do online testing, and that's only because there's nowhere for me to locally test anywhere.
Where are you based, if you are willing to share that, bearing in mind it is public?
Right. Well, I am based in Merseyside, and there is
That's a
no.
wee quaint town in England.
There's no the only sort of like what testing group I know that actually meets up regularly is in like Manchester, which is over an hour train journey. So that's like 2 hours of train journey, plus the time of actually printing out and sorting out a physical prototype. So it's just not convenient for me to do physical testing.
So you've actually been doing online testing for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only testing I can reliably do.
Even before, so yeah, that's interesting because for me, online testing was something that I explored at the start of lockdown. I had a version where we did stuff using video, and then I tried Gilhova's server and another couple of servers where I tested on Tabletop Simulator with a couple of people, but for me, that I struggle with that digital aspect of it, and I don't feel like I get the same information unless I can see people's faces. And with something like the knowing what scores people get, no, if I know what score you get, I need to know the background. And to be fair, maybe that's the kind of thing that you can ask in the Discord, and I assume that's at a certain point you get to know the different people. And so, yeah, you do get to know, okay, the reason that this person's not enjoying this game is because they don't like deck building. Whereas, okay, if this person really loves it, but bear in mind, this person really loves deck building and robots. So it doesn't mean that it's a great game. It's just that it's exactly perfect for this other person.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, you come across people who are like, it's a perfect fit for them, but that's not a good sample size. And then you've got the opposite side of the scale where it's a game that, like, obviously as a word game, I'm not going to rate it highly, but that's just because I'm terrible at word games. Not saying your game actually seems pretty nice and good, but personally, I don't like word games.
This is a wee section that I always do at the end where I say, over to you, what are you up to? You can share anything we want to. And anyone, whether you're Z-Hark and you can just tell me, or whether you're someone in the chat, or whether you're watching this video after the fact, and let me know in the YouTube comments, what are you looking forward to? What are you going to be getting involved in? Is there something that you're hoping to manage to do today that's a bit of a struggle? Is there something that you're... Yeah, so personally, and if you don't know what to answer, what's the next game that you think you're going to play? I think I'm going to probably either play a bit more Unfinishable with one of my parents, which is also a word game, or maybe maybe I'll try teaching Quintuppel to one parent to see how they get on with it, because I don't think I've shared that with them. Bodhi is struggling to solve a turn order advantage in the board game rules this morning. Well, I mean, that's always one where it's... Yeah, consider Hex, consider the Pyro in that. Have you extra resources? There's all sorts of ways to do it, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you just say, hey, there's a turn order advantage, and if white is normally going to win in chess, people still enjoy it. But maybe if it's a two-player game, you can play multiple rounds of it. Is there a way to shrink it down? But I hope that you find the answer that works for you. How about you, Z-Hark?
I'm going to be working on doing a video promo because I'm wanting to go for the AEG pitch project where they're allowing people to pitch their games to them. I've got a sales sheet pretty much ready. It's just the video promo that I need to show to them. I have finished my rulebook. That was one thing I wanted to have finished before I even pitched them. Even though it wasn't a requirement, it's like I need to have a rulebook done.
For sure. And especially if they're not going to see it, it helps it solidify it in your mind. By the time you're pitching, I think that, yeah, you really need that rule sheet. I would say that... Have you listened to Think Like a Game Designer, that podcast?
Probably at some point. I'll have to...
There's I think it's one of the last 2 or 3 episodes was with the head of AEG. And so I would definitely recommend checking that out. Stream
Thank you.
Elements reminds me to jiggle and wriggle, and I will do that for sure, just to make sure that while I'm sitting down, I even almost tipped over my bottle, and there we go.
Yeah, when the I'm not sure who it was who was asking about turn order advantage. Yeah, I would agree with starting resources is usually the best way. Depends whether the turn order will ever change or whether it's one of those games where it keeps looping around.
Oops, sorry about this. I unplugged my phone. Hold on, let me let me exit with my phone. Okay. We've gotten rid of that noise. Sorry, everyone. Okay. We are back to not terrible sound, and not normal quality for what it is has been resumed. But yeah, that was Bodie in the chat, our friend from the Netherlands, our Australian friend, I believe, in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So not quite a Netherlander. Anyway, over to you. What are you up to? I'm going to also be playing a LARP later this afternoon, and Bodie appreciates the suggestions. So Now Play This is a festival that's going on, and definitely look at some of their live streams if you can. Tabletop Live Network is going on where I'm going to raid, and yeah, unless anybody else has anything that they want to say. For my next streams, look at that link, stuffbybez.com/streams. Tomorrow I'm meeting a designer and publisher from New Zealand, Kirsten Lunde. Tuesday I am meeting Bodie. Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. we are playing We Whimsical Creatures, where we make the noise of really bizarre animals. And so you'll see some bizarre animals on my table that I've drawn, and you will be trying to make a recognizable noise of one of them. And other people get points if they guess correctly. You get points if the most people guess yours. So it's a very friendly game. It's not like Dixit. There's no trying to get not everyone to guess it. You're trying to get loads of people to guess it, if that makes sense. And just be silly. On Wednesday morning, I'm making a game with Reets and Tiz. Thursday is about me. Friday is Friendly Friday Forum. I'm having Mick joining me to talk about their wee marketing thing, Chaotic Shenanigans on Saturday, and then something on next Sunday. Basically, for the next 74 days, I'll be streaming at 10 a.m. UK time every day, and also Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Share, spread the word. If any of that sounds interesting, check out my link, stuffbybez.com, stuffbybez.bigcrowd.com, twitter.com/stuffbybez, instagram.com/stuffbybez for pictures and stuff, twitch.tv/stuffbybez for the streams, youtube.com/stuffbybez for the old streams, stuffbybez.com/discord. Please join the Discord, and that will let you talk about cats or game design or share cool photos or music or all sorts of things, and just be cool. And again, once more, thank you everyone. You are all lovely. See, Hark, do you have anything final that you want to say before we close off?
No, thank you for having me on. It's been nice to speak with you, and hope to speak to you again at some point. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you. You too. And I am just going to jump into Twitch for 30 seconds to check out who is currently streaming. It is Loserpalooza, so we are going to raid them. If you like board game content, then feel free to, do give them a wee shout. And I'm just standing up and trying not to step on my headphone cable. But for now, that's the end of the show. Thank you very much. Lots of love, and bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye.